That there is a chunk of block, engine block. We'll show you this little problem we got here. Get under the steering arm so you can maybe see it a little better. Yeah, hole in the block, ventilated. That's not supposed to be there if you didn't know for sure, but anyway, we're in the process of doing an frame on this truck, or this motor I should say, ISX. Right here, chunk of block. Yeah, Stevens Truck Power. You may have seen a previous video with a hole in the block. We're gonna use what we can off of this, but we've since acquired another block, and we're gonna use some parts off of this, but we do have a full rebuild kit. So we're gonna put a head, pistons, liners, bearings, oil pump, you know, new gaskets obviously. We're going to try and use what injectors we can. Maybe on this particular hole we may need an injector, just not that far apart yet. We were hoping the camshaft was going to be good, but it's not. So we're going to end up putting a camshaft in it also. But yeah, we're just trying to get it back together. We're not really piecing it together. We want to do a good job. Just trying to save as much money as we can in the process. So yeah, we're in the process of getting this out. And then this is our new block. And I shouldn't say new. Used block, been refurbished, I guess. We got this block and it was kind of dirty, so we sent it to the machine shop. They cleaned it up, and then they were able to find some pretty serious problems with it, but we're fixed up. So let me show you what they did here. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if the light's better or not, but there's a little lip right there, or maybe where it changes color. That's an insert. At the machine shop they found that there was a gap between the liner and the block, enough that we were going to have some trouble. So on all 6 of these, they milled these out and pounded an insert in there so that we can go back to a standard size hole. And they did that on every one of them. I don't know, is the light better or worse, but hopefully you can see that. So they did the tops and the bottoms. So these are the counter bores. Right here, this is where the liner sits, right on this groove. That light just isn't doing me justice there, but. And these had cracks going around in them. So we ended up having them do tops and bottoms in all 6. So this is all new stuff here. They milled this out, pounded in inserts, and now we're back to a standard size shim and liner. So it's going to be like brand new, and that's what we want. We don't want to have problems down the road. I mean, this is a big expensive job for customers, so glad we did that. Glad we sent it off and didn't just build it, because you know, we may have found that, we may not have found that, but at least it's found and fixed, and we're ready to go back together and not have any problems. So this is what a liner looks like installed. There should be a protrusion or poking up, and it's perfect right now. I can't remember, I think it's 10 to 14 if I remember right, but we want to be on the high side. We're actually sitting about 16 right now, 15, 16, but it's not smashed down with the head or anything like that, so it'll go down a couple thousandths, if not a little bit more, when we get the head put on. So yeah, our block, we got our engine kit, our crank right here. This is the crank that came out of this block. We're not going to reuse the crank in the motor. We had this one checked out, it was magged and polished, so no cracks, it's standard. Yeah, just a good way to start out with a build. So yeah, stay tuned, because we're going to put this together. Hopefully we can get it pretty close step by step. It won't be exact, just because, like I've said in the past, we actually work here. So we're not making videos just for pure entertainment, but we're just trying to show you what we do on a day-to-day basis in the shop. And if we have time to film, we will. We'll try and catch the crucial things, but stay with us and watch this build go together. Alright, we're back with our ISX build. We've got the crank in there. Just barely got that done. And we got the motor rolled over, and we'll be putting pistons in from this side right here on a little bit of a slant with some wood blocks. We won't have to do too much turning anymore. Just we'll get these pistons in, and then we can get the bottom on and be done with it. But anyway, yeah, we're ready to go in. All liners in, cranks in, making a little progress. With this ISX build, we've got the head sitting on now, block painted. Got those head bolts getting torqued. Just a little quick walk around, show you where we're at. There we go. This is where it's actually going to go when we're done. We do have the other motor out now. As you recall, if you've seen the other videos, it has a hole in the block, and we're basically rebuilding one from scratch. We found another block and are doing that. We're going to try and reuse what we can off this other motor. Here's a view of the motor that come out. A little better view of the damage, but yeah, it's extensive. Ruined the pan, the whole bottom piece of the block there. Come around to this side. Got a nice connecting rod hanging out the block. Yeah, lots of carnage, but we're going to try and reuse everything we can here. We're hoping to reuse the camshaft. We realized when we got it apart that it was etched up and bad, so we're going to have to put a cam in it. You can kind of see where, maybe on this lobe here, where it's starting. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, so we don't want to put that back in. We're going to reuse the injectors as far as we know. We're a little concerned with the injector on this number 4 right here where this rod came through. My guess is the way that rod's hanging out there, that piston probably slapped the bottom of the head and not only damaged the head but possibly the injector tip, but we'll have to inspect that further. We're going to go ahead and try and reuse this air compressor, fuel pump, all the stuff that didn't really get damaged by the disaster. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So we're getting close. I mean, we still got a bunch of motor to build, but most of these outside parts, exhaust manifold, EGR cooler, oil cooler, is all coming off this motor and being put onto this motor. Hopefully by another couple more days of this, we'll be real close to being able to put it back in the truck and have this guy a new motor ready to go. Hopefully you can get a lot of miles out of it. Pretty extensive build. Really hard to do a job like this because you just don't know what's bad and what's not. Kind of as you go, you realize you can or can't reuse something, but we're doing the best we can with what we got, and that's where we're at. So we'll get back at it. We'll get the cam in, injectors in, get a lot of the side put on, manifold, get the pan on, get this baby ready to go back in. That's the story. Going there when we're done.